Good day, great three pupils and my wonderful audience. Guess you are doing well. Alright, you're welcome once again to our class on mathematics. I hope you remember what we did in our last class. Alright, for the previous 2 weeks, we've been treating area. We looked at area of squares and areas of rectangle. And also last week, we looked at the area of both squares and those of rectangle. There's a combination of both in our calculation. And I hope you still remember the formula for calculating the area of a rectangle and that of a square. I guess you still recall. Alright, before I proceed into the lesson of today, I want to ask you a question. Alright, what is the formula for calculating the area of a square? I guess you are saying length times length. You don't need to forget that. Alright? You don't need to forget the formula for calculating the area of a square. That should remain in your long-term memory. Right? Because it's very important you know these little or basic things on the area. Alright, because you're going to need them in your calculation in subsequent classes. Alright, and also we looked at the formula for calculating the area of a rectangle. And if I may ask you, what's the formula for calculating the area of a rectangle? I guess you are saying length times breadth. Alright, okay, today we are going to look at area of compound shapes. Area of compound shapes. Alright, we're going to first of all look at the meaning of compound shape, or what is the meaning of a compound shape. A compound shape is a shape that consists or is made up of more than one shape, sorry. A compound shape is a shape that is made up of more than one shape. Consists of more than one shape. So we are going to look at the area of compound shape in our today's class. And then we have on the board example 1. The question there is the shape of a farmland is given by the figure below. Calculate the area of the farmland. The shape of a farmland is given by the figure below. Here's the figure. Calculate the area of the farmland. Alright, in this question, we are required to calculate the area of this farmland from this point to this point, from this area to this area. Alright, so in order to get the area of this farmland, actually this figure is representing the farmland in the question. Alright, so in order to get the area of this farmland, what are we going to do? First of all, as the definition of a compound shape says, that a compound shape is a shape that consists of more than one shape. You look at this shape and you agree with me that this shape consists of more than one shape, or this figure consists of more than one shape. Alright, first of all, from this point we are going to divide this shape, this figure. Alright, I hope you are seeing this. From this point to this point, we cut it. Let's assume we are using our scissors to cut this shape. So from this point, we cut out this other shape. Let's call this shape A. And from this point, we cut out the down one and call here shape B. And then we have shape C. Alright. So now to get the area of this farmland, which is a compound shape, or which has a compound shape. So what are we going to do? We are going to find the area of these different shapes. Alright, we are going to cut out this other shape. And if I may ask you, what shape is this? This is a rectangle. So we are going to cut out this. Now, looking at this shape, this other side, we have shape A here. From here, we've cut out shape A. And look at it here. As it is here, we have 5 centimeters as its length, and we also have 2 centimeters as its breadth. So that's why we have here shape A. We cut shape A from this point to this other point. We cut out shape A. You can see it here, it's being drawn there. And then from this other point, we cut out shape B, which is this other shape. Alright? Shape B has a length of 5 centimeters and a breadth of 2 centimeters. So you can see it here. This is shape B, breadth of 5 centimeters, a length of 5 centimeters and a breadth of 5 centimeters. So now we've cut out shape A and we've cut out shape B. So what is left is shape C. You can see shape B here. Actually, this is 2 centimeters. Let me write it this way so that you don't get confused. It's 2 centimeters. This is 5 centimeters and this is 2 centimeters. The breadth of shape A is what? The length of shape A is what? Shape B is what? 5 centimeters, while the breadth is what? 2 centimeters. Look at the shape here. And then this other point, from here to here, is 3 centimeters. So if this other side of this rectangle is 5 centimeters, this other side will be what? Also 5 centimeters. That is, from this point to this point will be what? 5 centimeters. From here to here will be 5 centimeters. Also from here to here will be 5 centimeters. So if from this point to this point we have 3 centimeters, that means from here to here, when we add it to 3, we are going to have this other length. Alright? So what will you add to 3 to give you 5 centimeters? Alright, from the properties of a rectangle, we know that the 2 lengths are always equal, isn't it? So one length has been given to be 5 centimeters. And this other length, we know is what? It's supposed to be what? 5 centimeters. But from this point to this point is 3 centimeters. So you need to add something to make it up to be what? 5 centimeters. That means from this point to this point is what you are going to add to 3 centimeters to make it what? 5 centimeters. So what are you going to add to 3 that you will get 5 centimeters? I guess you are saying 2. When you add 2 to 3, you are going to have what? 5. Alright? So you are this point, from this point to this point is 2 centimeters. So that when you add 2 centimeters to 3 centimeters, you are going to have what? 5 centimeters. Because that's how it's supposed to be. Since the opposite sides are equal in length, the opposite lengths are equal. That means that if this length, the length of this rectangle is 5 centimeters, that means this other side will also be 5 centimeters. But in the question, just part of it has been given. From this point to this point has been given to be 3 centimeters. So now you have to make it up. You have to make it up for this other part from here to here. Because we need this other part to calculate this other shape. Alright? This is a tactical question. You have to reason. To get this other side of this rectangle, rectangle C, you have to use your intellect, your calculating ability to get this other side. Alright? So we need this other side in order to calculate the area of this rectangle. So now from this point to this point is what? 2 centimeters. And from this point to this point is 3 centimeters. So when you add these two, you are going to have the length of this other rectangle to be what? 5 centimeters. Meanwhile, at the same time, you are going to have the breadth of this other rectangle. Alright? So we have already cut out this rectangle B, which is here 2 centimeters, and the length The breadth is what, 2 centimeters, and the length is what, 5 centimeters. So what is left is rectangle C. Alright? Looking at rectangle C, from this point to this point, which is the length of rectangle C, has been given to be 6 centimeters. Alright? I think I'll write it this side so that you don't get confused. 6 centimeters. Alright, from this point to this other point, it has been given to be 6 centimeters. That's the length of rectangle C. And if this side is 6 centimeters, this other side, from this point, not from here to here, not from here to here, but from this point to this point, is also 6 centimeters. Alright? And then from this point to this point is 2 centimeters. That's the breadth of rectangle C. This other breadth is here, this other breadth is here. So from this point to this point is the breadth of rectangle C, which is what? 2 centimeters. Alright? So now we can boldly write 2 centimeters for this other side of our rectangle C. Alright? So now, all what we are doing, we are trying to move towards calculating the area of this compound shape. That is our target. But before you can calculate the area of this very shape, you have to calculate the area of this component shape, the component shape of this compound shape. You have to find out the area of this one, the area of this one, and the area of this one. And you know, if you don't take your time and solve it step by step, you may not be able to arrive at the correct answer. So first of all, you cut out the first shape, draw it, get the dimensions, and then you cut out the second shape, draw the shape very well and get the dimensions. And then the last shape, or depending on number of shapes in the compound shape. So by doing that, you'll be able to identify the shapes that were present in the compound shape. Alright? Now looking at this shape you have cut out, you agree with me that all the shapes are what shape? A rectangle. They have the shape of what? A rectangle. So that means that we're going to find the shape of the area of this rectangle, the area of this rectangle, and the area of this rectangle. And then we add the areas of these 3 rectangles together. And having added them, then we get the area of what? The compound shape of the family. So now from this point, the dimensions needed for our calculation of the area of this rectangle are already given, or they are already provided based on what we did from here. We have gotten the dimensions. By dimensions, I mean the side and the length and breadth of the rectangle. So from this point, we know that the area of this other rectangle is what? Length times breadth. Length times breadth, which is equals to what? 5 centimeters times 2 centimeters. Alright? Alright, now, to get the area of this rectangle, we say area of rectangle is equals to what? Length times breadth. Area of rectangle A is what? Length times breadth. Yes, it's still length times breadth because area of a rectangle, the formula for calculating the area of a rectangle is what? Length times breadth. So now, what's our length from the rectangle A? We have the length there to be 5 centimeters times the breadth 2 centimeters. Alright? So now collecting or bringing the numbers together, we have 5 times 2 times cm times cm. So now we have 5 times 2 is what? 10. Cm times cm is what? Cm squared. Alright, this is the area of this other rectangle. Alright, that is rectangle A. Area of rectangle A is equal to what? 10 centimeters squared. So now we are going to calculate area of rectangle C. Alright, this rectangle is just like you just turn it, rotate the shape. It's actually a rectangle, but if you don't take it close, if you don't look at it closely, you won't know what shape it is. Alright, so it's just like you turning a rectangle, rotating a rectangle. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So now looking at this shape, you agree with me, is a rectangle. The length, this is the length, and this is also the length. That has been given to be what? 6 centimeters. And this is the breadth, and this is also the breadth, the second breadth, which has been given to be what? 2 centimeters. So now from this, what we have here, we can calculate the area of this figure, or rectangle C. So we say area of rectangle C. Here is rectangle C. Area of rectangle C is equal to what? Length times breadth. It's still length times breadth. That's the formula for calculating the area of a rectangle. So what's our length from this very figure? Our length is what? 6 centimeters. Alright. Then our breadth is what? 2 centimeters. I guess you are following. Then bringing the numbers together, we have 6 times 2 times cm times cm. Alright. So now 6 times 2 is what? 12. Cm times cm is what? Cm squared. Alright, this is the area of rectangle C. And now the last figure, which is rectangle B. It's the area of rectangle B. Alright, area of rectangle B, this is rectangle B, is what? Length times breadth. So what's the length of rectangle B? It's 5 centimeters. Times breadth. The breadth is what? 2 centimeters. Alright? Bringing the numbers together, we have 5 times 2 times cm times cm. Alright? So 5 times 2 is what? 10. And then cm times cm is what? Cm squared. Alright, this is the area of rectangle B. So now, we have calculated the area of rectangle A, the area of rectangle B, and the area of rectangle C, and the area of rectangle B. Alright, the next thing now, we are going to add the area of rectangle A, rectangle C, and rectangle B together in order to get the area of the farm land. I hope you understand what we are doing here. Alright, so let's proceed. Remember, we are calculating the area of a farmland. A farmland which has a compound shape. And remember, I told you that a compound shape is made up of more than one. A compound shape, the farmland is made up of a compound shape. And we say a compound shape is a shape or figure that consists of more than one shapes. Alright? So, also looking at what we did, you agree with me that a compound shape consists of more than one shape. So now, to get the area of the farmland, as I said earlier, you have to calculate the area of the various shapes that this compound shape is made up of. Alright? So, which we have done, we've calculated the area of the first rectangle, which is rectangle A. We've calculated the area of the second rectangle, which is rectangle C, and that of the third rectangle, which is rectangle B. Now, to get the area of the compound shape, or the farmland, which we are asked to calculate, we are now going to add the areas of this component rectangles or shapes that makes up the compound shape. All right. So now you say area of the farmland is equals to area of rectangle A, that is rectangle A, plus area of rectangle B, plus area of rectangle C. Alright, now the question is, what is the area of rectangle A? The area of rectangle A is what, 10 centimeters square. So we have here 10 centimeters square plus the area of rectangle B. Rectangle B is what? This shape. And the area of rectangle B is what? 10 centimeters square. So we have here 10 centimeters square plus area of rectangle C. Here is rectangle C. So the area of rectangle C is what? 12 centimeters square. So we have here 12 centimeters square. So now we have 10 cm square plus 10 cm square plus 12 cm square. So 10 plus 10 is what? We can use our rough work. 10 plus 10. Alright? 10 plus 10 is what? We have here 0 plus 0 giving us 0. 1 plus 1 giving us what? 2. 1 plus 1 is what? 2. That is, now 10 plus 10 is 20 plus 12. 20 plus 12. So we have here 0 plus 2. 2 plus 1, 3. Alright? So now, the area of the farmland is what? 32 cm square. Alright? This very topic, in fact, is a very challenging topic that you need to take your time, study, go through it over and over again. Because if you are not careful, you may mix up the whole thing. But one thing I want you to understand is, when calculating the area of compound shape, or the area of the compound shape, all you need to do is try to split those various shapes in the compound shape and get their dimensions. Once you are able to identify this shape and split them out correctly with their dimensions, you will now be able to calculate the area of those component shapes of the compound shapes. And having calculated the areas, you will now do what? Add the areas of those component shapes that makes up the compound shape together. Alright? Just like what we did here. So please take your time. And also please, I want to comment on the arrangement. Those of you that have been submitting, you've been trying. But please, I beg of you, try and arrange your work properly, neatly. Very important. You have to start learning how to arrange your work. Alright? Thank you very much. I believe you've learned something from this lesson of today. And I want to leave you with just few assignments. I think we are going to stop here because this topic is one that you don't need to rush. You have to take it one at a time. Alright? So I'm going to leave you. And so far, this is a few questions I have for your assignment. You say calculate the area of the figures below. Here are the figures. Number 1, this is a compound shape. So now we are going to use what we did, the knowledge of what we, from what you've understood in our examples, use it to solve this. Alright? And then for this other one, right? A close look at these figures. In fact, I don't want, let me not tell you the answer. You have to reason on your own, alright? Let me not tell you what to do. Based on what we did in our examples, you should know what to do. Alright? Thank you very much for your attention. And we are going to call it a day at this point. Please ensure you take care of yourself always adhere to the guidelines that are meant to prevent or protect us from contacting COVID-19. And also be obedient and be good children at home. And God will bless you in Jesus' name. Alright? Until our next class, I remain Mr. Godwin, your mathematics teacher. Goodbye for now.